So, sustainable leadership, what is it? This was my newsletter for today, and I brought a few notes with me to talk about. And the reason why I wanted to jump on here and do a live is because sustainable leadership means a lot to me personally. I mean, as you guys know, we have the Purpose Centered Leadership page, and sustainable leadership is similar to purpose centered leadership in that it's leadership that looks beyond the immediate profits, the immediate needs of the organization, and look more towards how the company, how the leader, how the organization can make a difference out there in the community. And I actually had listed in my article this morning, I listed a few key leaders that I admired over the years who really were able to balance being an effective leader with also having a big footprint, whether it's in the environment, whether it's in social justice, whether it's in poverty, but they made their leadership all about, having that impact. And so I told a story in my newsletter about a company that when I had a nonprofit years ago, there was a company that was a sponsor, that was a supporter of my nonprofit. And I think that was where the whole idea of purpose-centered leadership was really triggered in me, in that this company, this particular organization, when they donated to the charity, they didn't just stop at giving a check. The difference that I found with this company was that it not just gave a check, they were also invested in the outcome of our organization, meaning that they went beyond just writing a check once per year. They actually were very involved and very very invested in us doing really well, that we as a nonprofit would have an impact. And they went beyond writing checks to giving me, in particular, giving me some leadership coaching, giving me some ideas of how I, as a nonprofit founder, could have some sustainability as well. And so when I saw how this corporation handled themselves, when I saw the interest that they took in us doing well, I began to investigate their culture, their corporate culture. And I realized that they had employees who were long-standing employees, that they did not, they didn't have a high turnover. They made the employees who work with them part of the process of, a part of the vetting process, part of the process of, choosing that charity. And, they partnered up the charity with some of their employees. It was really a cool concept. And so it went beyond, again, that lip service, where this company from its entire core was all about giving back to the community, serving the community. And they remained a partner with me for, I think, maybe eight to 10 years. And every year, they would send some of their team members down to my location for a day to do some hands-on work and just an all-around encouragement. Let's see. Hey, Simone, and hey, I can't pronounce it, Manny. Thank you guys for tuning in. And so, sustainable leadership for me, especially nowadays in this era of tech, right? High tech AI. Listen, I will be the first one to tell you, I love ChatGPT. I use it very regularly. But what I'm hearing people asking nowadays is, how are we going to put the human, right, back into leadership when everything is so technical? And one of the ways that we can accomplish that is having sustainable leadership that goes beyond profits, goes beyond tech, and actually gets into the community and impact people at their points of need. And I think that's going to be a way for leaders to differentiate themselves in this high-tech world, is to get back to being that human again And the best way to be human is to is to attack human needs or to attack environmental needs, or whether it's our animals, whatever is your thing. But get back in touch with where your leadership is actually connecting with real people or real issues. And that's how you're going to differentiate yourself in this high-tech chat GPT type environment. And so for those of you who follow us on Purpose and the Leadership page, we try to post a lot of leadership stuff on there. But one of the things too, I want to just give a couple key points for if you are a leader and you are trying to figure out how can I become, or how can my organization be oriented towards sustainable leadership. I would just say you got first to develop a vision, right, with your team. Brainstorm it. What do you guys care about? And pick the prevailing theme. What do you guys care about? And orient your social responsibility, your corporate social responsibility around that particular cause. Foster a culture of responsibility. Encourage company-wide belief where every employee, right, a company-wide ethos where every employee understands their role in achieving this goal. Like I said, this particular company, they had their employees hands-on in selecting which charity they would choose, which nonprofits they would choose, where they would go and volunteer, and they actually incentivized their employees to volunteer. I mean, they were really full on. And if you're going to be a sustainable organization or a sustainable leader, you got to make sure you're engaging in ethical practices, right? Ensure that your business operations and strategies are not only profitable, but also ethically and socially responsible, because that's going to blow your credibility if you're not ethical, but you're saying something, but you're not doing something at home. And this promote inclusivity and diversity. I mean, embrace diverse perspectives and promote inclusivity as key drivers for innovative and sustainable solutions. And so one of the things too that I had a picture of myself with this particular company. And as you can see, they were a very, very diverse organization. They're from the leadership all the way down. And it just made the company so much healthier. And so before I go today, I also wanted to just give a shout out to the businesswomen out there who are faith-centered, because, I'm not trying to pick on women, but sometimes, women leaders tend to be a little bit more empathetic. Not to say men aren't, but they tend to be more empathetic. And one of the things that I've launched this year for women business leaders, especially if they're faith-centered, is a group called the Proverbs 31 Club, where we will talk about how to integrate your faith, with your work and with your life, following that iconic woman in Proverbs 31 who seems to be able to juggle it all and do it all. And so I'm just going to put a link out here or in the chat later on for the Proverbs 31 Club, where you can actually go on and read some information about, being a part of it. But again, it's for Christian, and faith-centered businesswomen who would love to pattern their lives off the iconic Proverbs 31 woman. And I do believe that, as we, for those of you who will be taking part in that particular journey, it would be easier for you to understand how to build a sustainable organization, because it will just be part of what your belief system. Because the Proverbs 31 woman was a woman who was involved in family, involved in business, involved as a wife, but also involved in community and community building. So I'm excited about that particular club. And for those of you, of course, for those women who are non-women, men who are watching, again, it's not, it's the beginning of the year. If you're trying to differentiate your company, if you're trying to, figure out how in this tech-dominated world, this AI-dominated world, that you can differentiate yourself I say, think about how you can incorporate community involvement, purpose-centered leadership, purpose-focused, sustainable leadership in your organization. Hey, I'm an executive leadership coach. I work with CEOs and their teams in building culture, strategizing, in stuff exactly like what I'm talking about today. So if you guys need to speak with me, just send me a DM here on LinkedIn and we can set something up. All right. See. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's a question. How do you handle where you want to create create sustainable leadership and but senior team is not on board? That is it's a very challenging ask. Yes, if you, and I'm thinking you being a lower level manager, lower level leader, that you want to create this culture, but leadership is not on board. I think you have to sell the idea. Sell the idea. I always tell people, sell the idea. Make it hard for them to ignore, right? Show other companies. In my article, I talked about a couple, the guy from Patagonia and some others who really, did very well in life and in leadership and in their companies, but they were known. Their identity was really tied into their social contribution. So I think you should sell the idea, sell the benefits to your leader as to how it would impact morale in a positive way, how it would impact team culture, and pretty much how it would impact the community, right, that they live and they work in. So that's how I would convince them. When I would sell the idea. Many times there are great ideas coming from the floor. The reason why they die on the floor is because employees don't know how to sell ideas. And by employees, I mean anyone who is not the CEO, any layers down, they don't know how to communicate and sell the ideas. That's why communication and pitching, two of the things that I love to teach and coach on, is so important, because great ideas get killed because they're not sold properly. I'll leave room for another question if anyone has any. I hope the audio was okay. I think I got one comment about the audio, but hopefully the audio is okay. Do you have any more questions, Mr. Wayne? If not, I'll just close it down for today. But if you're watching and it's after 3:15 p.m. on Monday, you're going to be team replay. And I promise you, I will respond to your comments even afterwards. So listen, it's a new year. It's the beginning of a new year. It's the first real work week of the new year. Because last year I still consider that like not a work week, but the first real work week of the new year. And now's a time, as you're thinking about what your legacy, your team culture is going to be. Now's the time to look at ideas like this. Like, what would sustainable leadership look like if I adopted it in my organization? Now's the time to have these kinds of conversation with your team. I think it's great. It's a great conversation starter. It's a great morale booster. And it's something that the team can rally around and own together. Again, hit me up if you want more strategies on that. I'd love to chat with you 30 minutes for free. But this is what I love working with organizations, especially ones who embrace that purpose-centered leadership mindset. And for ladies, the Proverbs 31 Club, Christian, faith-centered businesswoman, this will be a guiding star for you, a guiding light for you in how to integrate faith in both your business, life, and relationships. All right. So until next time, take care. And if your team replay, I will respond to your comments later on. Take care.